Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2026 321A Regional B here in Gypsum, Kansas, southeast of Saline High School. If you're joining the stream this morning, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and supporting Republic County Men's Wrestling. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Sternad Farms, Hinky Seed, KR92, Bobo's Meats, and Polanski Seed.
Good morning.
Super big shout out there to KR92. Without Deb and Jesse back home at the station, none of this would be possible. So, going to be a long day of wrestling here. Just myself, Brady Lowell, on the call. Might have a special guest a little later on in the day, but right now, Mr. Solo Dolo in Gypsum, Kansas. I'd like to thank you again for joining the stream and supporting Republic County Men's Wrestling. That action set to pick up here at 10 a.m. So just over 10 minutes out for that. Stick with us. Lots of wrestling today to come from your Republic County Buffaloes men's wrestling squad. Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Brady Lowell on the call for you here today down in Gypsum, Kansas, 321A Regional B at Southeast Saline High School for your Republic County Buffaloes wrestling squad. Joining me today, special guest, longtime member of the coaching staff at Republic County, Jostin Wassam. Jostin, how are we doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, Brady. Thanks for the opportunity to come out and share my broadcasting skills, which aren't great, but we'll do our best.
Hey, well, we are happy to have you today. A pleasant surprise here late in the week is Andrew Hubert off at a bachelor party this weekend. So, long day of wrestling here for the Republic County Buffalo squad. Goodness, I should have counted how many wrestlers, but a significantly bigger squad than the ladies took last week out to Waukene for that regional. So going to be a lot more action this weekend packed into one day opposed to last weekend was kind of some sporadic coverage, but today going to be firing back and forth from the station all day long with a lot of matches. For your Buffaloes, first up is going to be Om Patel, but we'll go ahead and run through some of these brackets here as this is the opening round of the tournament, top of the hour, 10 a.m. Leo Collette going to start things off for the Buffaloes here at 113 pounds, and Leo has had a heck of a freshman season, and he gets the 1 seed today.
He has, in league avenging that loss to the former Lions wrestler, gave him the number 1 seed, which should play out, and they should see each other in the finals again. Hopefully Leo doesn't have the freshman jitters or freshman nerves and comes out strong.
Moving up in weight to 120 pounds for your Buffaloes. That's going to be Travis Shelley. Travis drawing the 7 seed here in the 8-man bracket, but, a freshman, a little bit to be desired there in the record for the young man, but, not a lot of mat experience, and it's great for him to fill a spot here for the Buffaloes at 120.
It is. Manny Moto would have been the varsity guy and come down with an injury, so Travis filling in the spot. So next man up for the Buffaloes.
Absolutely. On up. And something worth noting right now, the tournament running, I believe, on 2 mats currently. If you're on the track dashboard, that's just going to show, well, there we go. There was 2. But one of the mats here on the floor in the main gymnasium is not running currently. And with the way we are set up here today, we are going to miss some matches here early this morning. I think Cash Hinkie going to be taking on Denning of El Saline. We'll jump to that bracket here real quick because that's probably going to be our first match up. Taking on Tucker Denning, a junior from, oh goodness, that changed.
Sylvan
Lucas. Okay, so we know that coach pretty well there. Wassam, what do you think about Cash's?
Cash got a good draw sitting there in that 4-5 matchup. This first match is a great tune-up match for him to get his jitters out of the way and start wrestling well for the next round. That 4-5 matchup, that's really typically the match that decides whether you go to state or not. It sets you up easier for a backside match if you happen to lose in the semifinals.
We're also going to see Om Patel here early. That match we will definitely be able to cover. That's going to be at 138 pounds. Om Patel getting the 2 seed today, Coach.
Yeah, Om, if Om shows up and his full potential, he's, sets himself up really well for success. Last year he had the broken arm going into regionals. They gave him the okay like 5 days before and just really didn't have the practice time nor the mat time to get himself mentally ready. This year I look for big things out of him today.
Kind of jumping around here until we get one of those first matches. Paul Pachta right here in the middle of this 8-man bracket at 126 pounds. Paul, a sophomore, a little bit to be desired again on that record at 8-25. What do you think about Paul's spot here? Some also, 6-4 records in there, 3-18 record in there.
Yeah, Paul's got a chance to win a match or two and give himself a chance to go to that state tournament. He just has to show up. It's what version shows up today on the mat.
And moving on up to 150 pounds for your Republic County Buffaloes, Matthew Collette, one of the few 16-man brackets here today, 150, always one of those kind of stacked weight classes no matter where you are, kind of right there in the middle. But Matthew Collette, tough quarterfinal, little sub part of the bracket there for Matthew, but Matthew, a junior, 15-13 on the year, has had some really tough matches, and a pretty winnable first-round match there.
He does. Matthew drew the number 8 seed, being 8 seedable wrestlers in the bracket. So, it's a tough day, but what you know about Matthew is he's going to bring it every match. He's going to give you 100% effort, and he's not going to be out of a match.
I think we might actually have Cash Hinkie wrestling currently. Track is not showing. I'm going to let Coach Wassam pop out here real quick and maybe give us some coverage on that match. As I said, we're stuck here in the main gymnasium, which only one of 2 mats is currently running. They've got another mat up here on the mezzanine, if you will, and that one definitely obstructed from where they have me broadcasting from today. So thank you to Coach Wassam. Having him here by my side today going to be super handy for popping over there to that 3rd mat. Hopefully they get this 2nd mat down here in the gymnasium rocking and rolling. I think Flow Wrestling having some issues this morning. Those old school days of track wrestling having problems has not been quite sorted out yet with the acquisition by Flow Wrestling, but hopefully, things start hammering themselves out, if you will, here this morning. Cash Hinkie finally hitting the computer screen here. Currently that says 0-0, but I can almost see this. Well, now that bout says bout number 7. Who knows what's going on this morning in Gypsum, folks. I can tell you one thing. The mat in front of me, when a Republic County wrestler comes up on that mat, I promise I will cover that for you. Jumping back to these brackets here, we talked about Matthew Collette there at 150 pounds, being the 8th seeded wrestler in the 16-man bracket, up at 157 pounds for your Republic County Buffaloes. It's going to be Colby Sternad. Colby, with a 32-12 record as a junior, has the 2 seed in this bracket. Another 16-man bracket. And, great seed there for Colby. He'll get a bye this first round of 16. And in the quarters, probably come up in a match against a senior with about a 500 record. So really good stuff there for the junior Colby Sternad. And I think we're going to get our first match on the day here. Jump right back to bracket coverage here in just a second. Om Patel taking the mat against Jack Minard, a freshman from Greensburg, Kiowa County. Minard 11-16 on the year. Patel, a sophomore, 33-11 on the year. And we're off to wrestling, our first wrestling of the match. Bear with us here. I think we're having some KR92 problems.
You there?
Folks, I think it's a reception issue from here in Gypsum, Kansas. Coach Wassam providing us some video feed there from Mat 3, so I'll call that match for you from Cash Hinkie. Hinkie working from a tie-up, looks for a single leg there. Hinkie again taking on the wrestler from Sylvan Lucas. Hinkie looks for a bundle throw there. Then pushes away back to a right-hand collar tie. Gets to that head and heel. He's been a big fan of that move this season. Kind of his moneymaker there. Hinkie riding from the top side. Chicken wing on the left. Going to step out. Has the far wrist. Near fall. Counted. Hinkie looking for the pin. Going to readjust here. reverse half, scoop the head, trying to post that far wrist. And Hinkie looking for some bonus points. Senior getting to work early here. Big bridge there from the Sylvan Lucas wrestler, but Hinkie able to get the fall. If you're just getting to us on KR92, we saw some action from Om Patel here this morning. Oh, shoot, and I just closed my bracket at 120. Just saw some action from Om Patel. Patel taking on Jack Minard of Greensburg. Patel winning that one early by fall.
Looking at the matches so far, both the Republic County wrestlers came out aggressive, got their takedowns early, and set the tone on top. Your easier on matches, your early matches, a great time to tune in. The kids are wrestling well so far.
Some housekeeping here on my end, trying to get all these brackets straight. Lots of wrestlers today for the Republic County Buffalo wrestling squad. Going to get up the team schedule here to see who will still have this round. We're going to see Matthew Collette at 150 pounds, bout number 11. Tyrese Alexander, bout number 21. And then we're going to start back at the top, 113-pounder Leo Collette. And that'll be our first full round of action. So that's going to be an action-packed second round here from Gypsum. Where were we on our brackets? Coach, while you were gone, I was able to cover Colby Sternad, the 2-seed at 157 pounds. Pretty good draw for that young man. What are your thoughts on that bracket?
You know, Colby, when he shows up, can beat anybody. That's the biggest thing for Colby today. He'll have the Southeast of Saline kid in the semifinals. Very winnable match, but they've seen each other a couple times, so you never know what can happen. But good things from Colby today.
On up to 165 pounds, that's going to be Tyrese Alexander for the Buffaloes, kind of right in the middle of another 16-man bracket. Going to be taking on Jackson Mead, 8-20 junior. Pretty favorable matchup for that young man to start this off as well.
Yeah, great first-round draw. You know, once again, set himself up. His quarterfinal match should be against the Council Grove kid, somebody we have not seen this year, but once again, another freshman. And, you know, this was a very tough competitive bracket as far as your seeds. I know Coach fought for the seed pretty hard there. Came up with a 6 seed just basically based on record, but it's a favorable match against a 3 seed that we should be able to beat. Absolutely,
Coach. On up to 175 pounds for your Buffaloes. Carson Beavers with a 4 seed here, opening round bye. Senior, 31-9 on the year. Carson, known as a very defensive wrestler, but definitely has the mat skills to back up that 4 seed today. What do you expect from Carson?
You know, Carson, not having been a state qualifier before, I look for him to take that next step. You know, all year he has. He's been a leader for the team, and he's just got to come out physically and attack and win that 5 match against a Harrington wrestler who's, you know, got a great record, but you know, in our eyes, Carson at 31-9 is prepared and should do well.
A couple more heavier guys here for the Buffaloes at 190 pounds. You know him, Nick Kendall, the number 2 seed in the state, also the number 2 seed here today. Junior, 39-8 record on the year. Number 1 seed, saw him there at the league tournament. Keegan Urbanic, 21-9, also a senior. Other than that, I think it's everyone in the gym knows those two should meet in the finals.
Absolutely. You know, that semifinal match will be kind of a fun one. Another former Republic County coach being the head coach at Halstead. So we'll get to see one of his wrestlers, a freshman from Halstead with a great record. He's 24-4, so you can't look past him. But as long as Nick Kendall comes out and is Nick Kendall, we should be okay.
Yeah, you know, great performance from Nick there at the Beloit tournament. Tossed the eventual champion there in the Trey Hamill from Concordia probably 2 or 3 times in that match. Hopefully get to see some lat bombs out of the young man today. Didn't get to see any at league, but always exciting when Nick takes the mat.
Yeah, the conversation I've had with Nick since that tournament is finishing. You know, if you get a kid on your back, you got to put him away. All right, this time of year, you cannot give second chances.
Finally, on up at 2:15 for your Buffaloes, Trent Gardner, 8-man bracket, full all the way. Well, 7 guys in the 8-man bracket, pardon me. Trent Gardner taking on Ryan Weller, hometown kid here today, sophomore with a 15-21 record. Trent, also a sophomore, 18-26, so pretty similar records there. Trent going to have to knock off the hometown kid to get his day going.
If Trent can get that win, you know, that's that 4-5 matchup again. He'll have a favorable match on the backside. Wrestling a Sedgwick kid probably on the backside to go to state. You know, Trent's very capable. I'm pretty sure Weller and him wrestled earlier in the season. Pretty sure Trent came out the winner on that match, so it's a great draw, you know, setting himself up to get to the semifinals.
And that is all the wrestlers for your Republic County Buffaloes. We should have Matthew Collette going to try. Hopefully he's on this mat right here in front of us, but he is slated to be. He should be up next right here in front of us, taking on McCollum of Sylvan Lucas. Kind of a herky-jerky start to the morning, Coach, with the one mat down here not working, our audio signal cutting out, but hopefully we find our stride here with this one.
Good things to come here. You know, Matthew taking the mat here against Sylvan Lucas. Another name sitting in the corner that we would all be familiar with, Coach Kraft, helping as the assistant coach at Sylvan Lucas High School.
All 4 coaches down there on the mat, Republic County familiars. Well, I guess Coach Talkington not down there, but regardless, Collette off to action here against McCollum, the 0-16 junior from Sylvan Lucas. Collette right to a right-hand collar tie. Good pressure here from Collette. McCollum going to blast a double leg, though. Kind of catch Collette on his heels and get the takedown 3-0.
Yeah, Matthew's got to find a way to get to his feet here and get away and get settled into this match and give himself an opportunity.
Matthew has seen some struggles from bottom, but McCollum going to touch those hands and get called for a locked hands violation. 3-1 going to be your score now. Fresh start for Collette with 1:25 left to go in the opening period.
Knowing Matthew over the years, he's typically a slow starter. He's got to weather the storm, get it to the second and third period, and he'll have some success here.
Off the fresh start, wrist control from McCollum. He's looking for a 2-on-1. Collette keeping his base here, looking for a knee slide. Almost a locked hands again, and there, he's going to touch him. Another free point there for Collette. Referees today not letting those locked hands go very long. Not much of an opportunity for that free move, so to say.
That wasn't much of a locked hands, but we'll take it.
It was quick. But you could tell, if you've watched wrestling enough, you can tell when you're about to get a locked hands call, and that's exactly what that referee was anticipating. So, fresh start, 3-2 match. 1:07 left in the first period. Collette to his feet here. Nice wrist control. Gets the hip separation and the escape. All tied up 3-3. Collette, right-hand collar tie once again. Pummels inside with the left.
Collette in good position here. Needs to work his head up on this tie a little bit so he doesn't get caught on that blast double again. But fighting for inside control.
Both guys pummeling back and forth. Now the center of the mat. McCollum going to blast a double once again. And 3 more points for the wrestler from Sylvan Lucas. 6-3 your score, 25 seconds to go. Collette looking to trap an arm from bottom here. Gives that up, going to sit out. Nice turn, almost a locked hands once again. Some hip separation now. And Collette in on a single leg from technically bottom position. Has it up on his feet, looking for a reversal here. Traps an arm, going to take McCollum to his back. Punch a half. And big swing and score there for Collette. He's going to pick up 2 near fall on the transition and now has his first lead of the match, 7-6.
Yeah, that was a great sit out to a crawfish there by Matthew, coming to his feet with that single leg. We'll see what his choice is here. He's choosing bottom to start the second period.
Looking a little winded out there, Coach. Not sure if it's injury or with Matthew, you wouldn't think gas tank issue, not a guy that usually gets tired out. But, it is the end of the season, and the guys have been pretty beat up. Collette quick to get an escape here in the second period. 8-6 now your score. Double again from McCullough this time. Collette able to catch him. Out front now Collette lowers his level. Dives underneath on a Fireman's. Nice shot there. Going to catch McCullough on a hip. Take him to his back. And another burst of points for Collette. Looking to settle into a butcher grip here. Going to cast his hips to the far side. Now punch a half. Collette smelling blood here. 11-6 your score. 3 more for Collette off the half. Now 14-6.
Collette riding that 2-on-1 tough here. Look for probably a near ankle forearm out of Matthew in this situation.
Gets the breakdown, edge of the mat here. Halfway through the second period. Plenty of space to work, being we're not even using that extra mat, but they're going to blow it dead out of bounds. 1 minute, 2 seconds left in the second period. Collette with an 8-point lead. Collette to set up on the left side. McCollum stands off the whistle, brought right back to the mat by Collette. Collette now looking maybe ball and chain there. Now up to another half. Powers it up this time. Running around the right side. McCullough up to his base, able to fend it off. Trapped arm there, cross wrist for Collette. Flattens McCullough back out. He's looking for a chicken wing now. Going to just kind of drive it across the back of McCullough, and more near fall to come for Collette once again.
And Collette finds a way to get the fall here with 27 seconds left in the second period.
Hinky Seed bonus point win there for Matthew Collette. Probably not a lot of team scores to check just yet. We'll check those at the end of the round. Still a few more Republic County wrestlers here for you this round. We're going to have, well, I guess one more. That's going to be Tyrese Alexander, bout number 21 at 165 pounds. We'll see if we've got that match assigned yet. I don't see it. See if I can find Mr. Alexander here on the bracket. Bout number 22.
Should be the second one assigned here.
So hopefully we see Tyrese Alexander here shortly. That's going to be the last match of our opening round. This herky-jerky start here at the 321A Regional B from Southeast Saline High School. We'll go ahead and cut it back to the break, back to the station for a quick break. This is Brady Lowe and Jostin Wassam for KR92 here at the 321A Regional B for the Republic County Wrestling Squad. Now back to the station.
Should be on deck here, mat 1, or in the hole, mat 1.
Mute.
got caught stepping over and got headlocked and gave up 7 points. And he battled back, but just ran out of time.
Then your Buffaloes just kind of getting beat up there up on that mat 3. You see Travis Shelley lose a quick one, Paul Pachta lose a quick one, and then Cash Hinkie against Manier. A tough match for that 4-5 seed there. I think Cash wrestled tough in that match, but just ultimately gets caught in a pretty slick pinning combination.
It was, it was a chicken wing with a half, and they ran it kind of like the Mills, like you said on the broadcast. And, you could see Cash, once he got to his back, shook his head. He's like, man, what just happened to me?
So that mat 3 really beating up the Buffaloes here this morning. Also to note, we've got Om Patel, Coach Wassam, able to get some video of that one, so I'll break this down for you. Patel gets snapped down here. Who is this? Where's this wrestler from here,
Sylvan
Coach?
Grove, I believe.
From Sylvan Grove. We'll say that. That'll work. Patel gets in a right-hand collar tie, looks to throw a headlock, but doesn't pull the trigger. Back to work from space. And Patel really looking for a heavy right-hand collar tie there in that one.
Ohm being very physical with the hands.
They said you're not on the radio.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pretty touch-and-go morning here for the KR92 broadcast crew, but Matt to get you live coverage there. We tried it with the cell phone, and that kind of worked, but jumping back and forth all day wasn't going to work. So hopefully they move just to these two mats here in the gymnasium, but, it'll be what it'll be. So let's do some catching up here. That third mat has really beat up your Buffaloes. Leo Collette, the 1 seed at 113 pounds, falls to Ishmael De La Cruz of Ellsworth in kind of a heartbreaker. Made a few mistakes, got caught in some on-the-mat throws, if you will, and he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to qualify here as a freshman today.
Yeah, he got down early with that headlock, and he just really wasn't able to battle back, but gave himself a chance at the end, and we look for Leo to come back strong on the backside.
Then up at 120 pounds, another quick loss there for your Buffaloes. That's Travis Shelley, followed soon after by Paul Pachta, all taking place on mat 3 up there on the mezzanine. And, those guys, not a lot of mat time between the two of them, pretty fresh records. And, you just hope those guys can go out there and score some points for the team. Republic County started the day off in first place, actually, and things are going to kind of settle in here as we move through this opening round. But to me, that's the name of the game for Travis and Paul, is you get on that backside and you go find some wins and score some team points for the squad.
Every single point matters here when you're looking for a regional title or runner-up finish. And, Travis and Paul can both, not necessarily, if they don't win the matches, they cannot give up pins. They cannot give up the bonus points to the other teams.
Good take there, Coach. On up to 144 pounds, another match. Oh, yeah, skipping 138. I was thinking about that third mat. It's going to live rent-free in my head now. Om Patel has had a good morning here at 138 pounds. Patel picking up a win by fall in his first match as well as his second match. That second match, I think, chicken wing and a wrist, Coach?
Yep, yeah, I took him down with a kind of just a snap-down type position, got behind with a chicken wing and a wrist, and followed suit with the pin real quick.
Then Cash Hinkie back on that third mat. Cash this morning was able to get a win by fall against Tucker Denning of Sylvan Lucas, his quarterfinal match against Jackson Menier of Ellsworth. Hinkie, strong start. Got a takedown, got a reversal. Looked like he might be able to catch Menier on his back with his takedown, but ultimately gets caught in a pretty slick pinning combination there with the wing and the half, and Cash Hinkie going to fall there at 144 pounds. We'll catch you back up on all the action that has happened this morning, but first we are going to hopefully, I think this might be our second live match of the day. This is going to be Tyrese Alexander.
Tyrese wrestling the wrestler from Council Grove here. Right away to the over-under tie. The kid's looking for a throw.
And he's going to walk Tyrese off the mat 12 seconds into the match. Let's see. This is going to be Easton Scholes, freshman, 30-11 from Council Grove. Tyrese, a junior, 22-18.
Back to the over-under tie. Tyrese looking to step through and catch him here.
Kind of a scramble there. Both guys had their opportunities, but ultimately kind of both bail out there as they recognize the danger.
The Council Grove wrestler being a little taller, he's really liking that upper body position, giving him the leverage, looking for that throw repetitively here.
Tyrese, though, able to stay in good position in all these scrambles, able to keep his hips high that time, cast it over. If he would have had a little bit more mat space, probably would have had the takedown. And Stoles he looks happy to engage in that upper body stuff, even though Tyrese has kind of seemed like he's had the advantage. Tyrese going to blast in on a single leg, gets flattened out, and Stoles, sprawl spin, gets the takedown. Tyrese trailing by 3 here. Just under a minute left in this opening period.
Stoles riding a nice tight 2-on-1 here, looking for that chicken wing with the right hand.
Tyrese trying to get back to his base, center of the mat here. Stoles just kind of camping on that chicken wing. Tyrese trying to get it back. Tyrese struggling from bottom here, constantly flattened out by forward pressure there from Stoles.
Yeah, right now, Stoll's doing a great job controlling both wrists, keeping his hip pressure. Tyrese has got to find a way to get his hands back out in front.
Stoles from the right side, going to try to run the head here with that chicken wing. Referee getting in position for exposure. Tyrese going to try to cast over and gets caught. Gives up the fall there to Stoles of Council Grove. A pretty brutal quarterfinal round here for your Buffaloes, if you will. Let's see if we can get back to these team results here for you. I believe we ended with Cash Hinkie there at 144 pounds. Matthew Collette there at 150 pounds. Gets a win by fall in his opening match this morning over McCollum of Sylvan Lucas. Then gives up the fall to Matthew Collette, to Jace Grizzle there, the number 1 ranked wrestler out of Lyons. Colby Sternad had a bye his opening round at 157. Oh, and we've got a match here from Carson Beavers, so we'll get back to the action. We'll continue to try to get you caught up here today. Beavers taking on, this is Hunter Matthews of Harrington, a sophomore, 24-18 on the year. Beavers is senior, 31-9 coming into this morning. Beavers working that Russian tie on the left arm there of Matthews. Matthews going to push away. Beavers, though, looking to maybe be the more aggressive wrestler here. Baseball bat grip now for Beavers as he climbs back up to that Russian tie.
This being another one of the 4-5 matchups, the wrestlers are very, very well comparable record-wise.
Beavers working from space here, center of the mat. Looking for a left-hand tie, now back down to that baseball bat grip. Beavers going to shoot a nice single leg here, gets it picked up off the mat. Nice elevation, going to look for the treetop finish. And Beavers, nice finish on the single leg, 3-0 halfway through the first period. Big crossface from the right side for Beavers as he looks for a far side cradle. I think he's got it locked up here. Thought about jumping back to the far side, but I think he needs to put a left foot on the mat. Matthews able to break the lock there.
It looked like Beavers was a little confused. He didn't want to suicide it and give up the wrist, so cuts to their feet, gives them the one escape, and go back to work on his feet here.
After a beautiful shot from Beavers there to give him the 3-1 lead, we'll see if he can do it again. 27 seconds left in this opening period. Beavers pushing perimeter back to his Russian tie. Matthews closing that gap window there, and we'll see if Beavers can hit that single leg again.
Beavers looking to shovel that through to set up that cross ankle pick on the right-hand side.
Just as you said that, Coach, he went for it. Unable to get to the leg, but nice shot action there from Beavers. He's going to shoot through his tie and look to score here on the edge. Kept a toe in, but they're going to go out of bounds before he can cover the far hip. Oh, no, time expires. Pardon me. Beavers, though, going to hang on to that 2-point lead going into the second period.
Beavers wanting to choose the bottom position here. What we want to see here is some explosion. Carson hopefully not sitting down there very long, getting right to his feet. Typically very good at his stand-ups in this position.
Matthews loads up on the left side switch of Beavers. Beavers now pushing perimeter. Going to come back to the center and look for his tie once again.
Beavers doing a nice job searching for that Russian, trying to slow his opponent down and control it here. Gets a stalling call on the Harrington wrestler who continues to back up.
Back to that single leg, same setup as the first one. Beavers locked in here. Going to try to cut across to a double leg. Matthews trying to get some space, now sits to a crackdown. Beavers going to go out of bounds. Just got a little rushed there on that finish, Coach.
Did. I think he needs to stay on his feet and finish that on his feet like he did in the first period, but still in good position. Nothing hurt here. Hopefully he gets right back on that attack.
Matthews going to try a sweep single there. Can't get to a leg. Now tries a high C again in the center. It's been a little more active after being warned for stalling there. Beavers back to his baseball bat, now up to the Russian. That's a good tie-up setup there for Beavers. Needs a little bit more pressure on the shoulder of Matthews to get this tie-up to really sell, but nice little shovel with the Russian there for Beavers into the single leg. Going to look for that treetop finish again, kind of running out of space. Nice little funk roll there from Matthews as they go out of bounds to defend the takedown.
Matthews is doing a good job once we get in on the single leg. He's playing that out of bounds line, immediately working towards it. The Beavers got to get right back to that setup. It's there all day long. He's controlled it from his feet. The score not showing it yet, but it will come.
Tries the far side single leg there off the Russian. Can't quite get to it. Matthews, another half-hearted high C. 20 seconds left in the second period. Beavers 3-point lead. And lots of shot attempts there from Beavers. Again with the Russian, this time elevating it a little bit, swings it into a high C, cuts to a double, hips collected, brings it down to the mat, 3-point takedown. Matthews in trouble. They're going to stroke a couple. And 3 near fall there. Nice break for Carson.
That was a great job with Carson. With 5 seconds to go, he gets in on the shot and scores the 6 points late in the match, and those are matchmaking points. Really sets the tempo now that he doesn't necessarily have to score a lot of points here. He can just ride and stay in good position.
And when Matthews has no answer for that Russian tie, you almost like every position here for Carson. He's going to start the third period from top after Harrington chooses bottom, riding from the left side here. Matthews has his base. Nice cross wrist there for Beavers on the left side. He's going to float here to the right, maybe work a 2-on, catches a hammerlock there on that left arm. Matthews flattened out here. Beavers going to get better grip there on that hammerlock and start posting it across the back of Matthews. Matthews going to build his defenses up to that far side. Beavers going to float over to that far side and abandon his hammerlock. Matthews now back to his base.
For Beavers here, I'm probably going to get a breakdown and look for a Turk. It's typically what he's been. Instead, he chooses to cut him. We're 10-2 with 1:06 left in the match.
Major decision range here for Beavers if he can hang on to it or go get himself another takedown. Under a minute left. Beavers again on that baseball bat grip, coming up to his Russian tie. Matthews getting a little bit more hesitant to let Beavers get comfortable in that tie. Nice head and heel entry there for Beavers again. Nice elevated single leg funk roll there for Matthews. Beavers wrestling tough, able to collect the takedown. 13-2 now. Just over 30 seconds left in the match for Beavers. Matthews working from bottom. He has his base. Beavers, though, cross wrist, riding on the left side. Good forward pressure here from Carson. 20 seconds left for this ride out and major decision win.
Yeah, we hope Beavers can ride here, not cut him. 11 seconds to go, but he chooses to cut him here. 9 seconds. We're in good position. 10-point lead. The clock runs down here.
Harrington wrestler there. Matthews going to try last-minute entry. Can't get to the legs of Beavers, and Beavers going to pick up a major decision.
Yeah, moving on to the semifinals where he'll wrestle Kyler of Ellsworth, who's the #1 ranked wrestler in the state right now.
Tough quarter or semi-draw there for Carson, but, it's that time of the year.
Absolutely, and Carson has the ability to slow that match down with him. Look for that match to stay on our feet. I know they've kind of game planned a little bit here, and they don't want to bring it to the mat if possible. They want to wrestle him on his feet, try to get the takedowns, and try to win in that position.
And that Russian tie for Carson is looking really sharp. You can slow down a match just to a couple opportunities with it, especially if you're getting to it so fast off the whistle from neutral position. So great stuff there from the senior. We'll try to get you caught up here. I think our last person we touched on was Colby Sternad. Colby, a bye in that opening round, picks up a fall in his second match over Lane Schwab of Langdon Fairfield High School. Colby moving to the semifinals there at 157.
In that match, Colby hit a really nice double leg takedown, took it right to a tilt position, and then worked up to a reverse half to get the fall in 29 seconds. So Colby wrestled really aggressive, in good position, and attacked.
Then back around 165 to Tyrese Alexander. Tyrese, medical forfeit to start things off. Then, of course, I think we called this, I don't know if it made it onto the air or not, folks, but we called a match between Tyrese and Stoles of Council Grove. Stoles able to catch Tyrese in transition for a fall there. At 175, of course, we just had Carson Beavers That was the first match for Carson this morning, as now he finds himself in the semifinals against the number 1 ranked wrestler in 321A, 175 pounds. Then at 190, Nick Kendall gets a bye. He's a 2 seed in that bracket. The top 2 guys at 190 pounds, 321A, are the 1 and 2 seeds. So big potential matchup there for Nick in the finals if he is to make it to that match. And then, of course, the big man, Trent Gardner, at 215. We'll see some action from him this round, but he has yet to wrestle.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of matchups here in this regional of guys who've wrestled each other 2 or 3 times, and within the last 3 to 4 weeks. And, those matches always get closer every time. And they tend to favor the guy that didn't win necessarily because, you go back home, you game plan, you figure out, what could I do differently? And it's tough as the winning wrestler to make that match better because, well, obviously you dominated the guy the first time. So we're seeing a lot of upsets, to be honest, in this quarterfinal round.
Our next match for the Buffaloes should be up on mat 2. That's going to be Nick Kendall. First action from him this morning. Kendall taking on Mason Bartell of Hillsboro. Freshman, 13 and 25 on the year. Favorable matchup there for the 2 seed Nick Kendall. Real quick, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Sternad Farms, Hinky Seed, KR92, Bobo's Meats, and Polanski Seed. We again apologize for all the technical difficulties this morning out here from Gypsum, but hey, I think we're rocking and rolling now. Coach Wassam, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me here.
Big shout out to KR92 back home, and we are off to action here at 190 pounds. Nick Kendall looks for a single leg, now comes up to that body lock. Sweet inside trip there for Nick Kendall. This is going to be a 7-point move for the young man. Oh, no, pardon me, 5-point move. Got a little hasty there. Nick Kendall right to a 2-on-1 tilt. And he'll make up even more than 7 with that one. Now 8-0.
Kendall riding the 2-on-1 tough here. This kid stands. Kendall with a nice mat return, looking for that 2-on-1 again. Kendall pressuring forward here, looking for a double trouble. He's got it hooked up here, turning the kid to his back.
Now Nick Kendall settling in. Hinky Seed bonus point win as Nick Kendall gets the fall there over Mason Bartell of Hillsboro. That'll move him into the semifinals. We'll see if the bracket's posted yet for that. Probably not quite. Yes, he's going to be matched up against Logan Overton of Hallstead, a 26-4 freshman. Familiar coach going to be in the corner of that one, Coach Burke. And, I think that's a really good matchup for Nick Kendall, being the senior, taking on a freshman to qualify. And I think Nick is going to have all the experience in that match.
The added advantage to that matchup is they've never seen Nick Kendall, so they don't know, his style, his lat drops, his throws. I think that plays to a big advantage for us. Up on mat 2 over here, we have Trent Gardner taking the mat versus his Southeast Saline opponent, Ryan Weller.
Weller, a sophomore, 15 and 21 on the season. Coach, you did some digging on their last matchup, and that was back at the league tournament there at Republic County. Trent Gardner able to pick up a win in a big way there in that one. We'll see if he can do it again here at regionals.
Gardner looking for that inside collar tie, looking to control the head position here early on in the match.
Yeah, Trent does a good job of getting on his opponent's head and trying to stay heavy. Not a lot of takedowns come from that, but, come the third period, sometimes that tactic can really pay dividends at these heavier weights.
It really puts a lot of pressure on the guy's body, neck and head area, and wears them out. That's the goal there. But Trent looking for a nice front headlock here, going to try to snap it to the mat.
Either way, pushing perimeter. Weller going to dive in on a low single. Trent going to have to scramble here. Needs to get his hips up. Going to bail. Give up the takedown 3-0 in favor of Weller. Trent, though, pretty scrambly for a big guy on bottom. If he can get to his base here, he's really good at trapping an arm, hitting that wing and roll, if you will. And a lot of points potentially to come here from Trent on bottom.
Gardner looking to get to his base. Weller's riding a double underhook from on top.
Hanging on that right side is Weller. Edge of the mat. Trent, not a lot of movement here from bottom so far. He's going to sit out.
Looking for that wing and roll right here. Here we go. Gardner does get it, gets the reversal, and puts Weller to his back.
Big transition here for Trent Gardner as he's looking for a finish. Weller going to roll away from him. We'll see if Trent can readjust his grip here and get the fall. Short time, 7 seconds. Trent teed out. Gets the fall. 1 second left in the period. Big win. Bonus point, Hinkie Seed win there for Trent Gardner.
Absolutely. That puts Trent into the semifinals. Gives him 2 shots of to make it to the state tournament. Tough semifinals match, but definitely a winnable match on the backside if he happens to fall in that semifinals match.
Coach, it's been a crazy opening and quarterfinal round so far. I'm glad we kind of got in the flow of things here as we settled in at the latter part of this quarterfinal round. The first chance we've had to check the team scores, probably the first time it's really means something and it is significant to mention. And, your Buffaloes, they're sitting in at number 2 right now.
Yeah, we're only behind by 1 point right now to Lions, and that's with giving up some matches that, possibly on paper we were favored to win. So there's a lot of backside potential for points for your Buffaloes here. But what I enjoyed seeing here towards the middle half of the second round is our aggressiveness on our feet picked up. Once we got to that 157 on up weight classes, the guys were going and getting their takedowns. They weren't sitting back on their heels and waiting.
We'll go ahead and give you the lowdown here on team scores. NCAA League really leading the pack in a big way here, as we kind of figured they would. Lions out in front with 42 points. Your Buffaloes in second with 41 points. The Ellsworth Bearcats in third, 35 points. They picked up a couple big wins against your Buffaloes here early today. Minneapolis in fourth with 33.5 points. Council Grove rounding off the top 5, the only non-NCAA school in the top 5 thus far with 31 points.
Southeast is going to pick up some points here with their heavyweight winning. Should give them 4 more points.
We'll see if we can update and see if that has hit yet. They're going to be in 7th with 21.5 points. So, your NCAA school is doing really well today. I think that's all of them that are here, and they're all in the top 10. So, at the league tournament, Andrew and I spoke a lot about the level of wrestling in the NCAA league now. And, you look at your top 5 here today, your top 10, and I think that proves what the level has become in our league.
Absolutely. Every team has got 3 or 4 guys who can go out and compete for a state title any given tournament. So it's definitely showing out here on the mat. Lions having 2 or 3 number 1 ranked wrestlers. Ellsworth having a couple number 1 ranked wrestlers. Republic County, we've got Nick Kendall ranked 2nd. Leo Collette was ranked 6th. So we've all got guys that are capable of making that big push here come next week.
Moving into the semifinal / second consolation round, we'll say. We're going to see everybody on the team. Everyone's going to get a match this round. Well, maybe I lied. We might not see... Well, we will see Travis. We will see Paul. So we will see everybody. The order might be a little weird. I'm assuming they're going to run consolations up on the mezzanine. That's yet to be determined. So just stick with us. We'll call it as we see it. But you're going to see Om Patel starting things off for your Buffaloes in the semifinals at 138 pounds, taking on Juan Becerra of Lions. That's a big one when you talk team points. Also being a semifinal match, if Om wins that one, he'll make his first bid to Hayes in the state tournament.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the results here. I'm sure Om and Juan wrestled back at the league tournament in that duel. Given that Om got the 2 seed, I would assume that Om won that match.
And, Juan Becerra, a senior, 21-8, so no slouch there. But, with that definitely being a common opponent between, those two definitely wrestled each other. And Ohm getting the 2, I would venture to say you're correct there, Coach.
Yeah, and that's one where Ohm's got to come out and set the tempo early. Ohm's got to get the takedown and control on top, look for his cradles, his chicken wings. just stay physical and aggressive throughout the beginning of that match.
We're also going to see consolation wrestling action from Cash Hinkey and Matthew Collette. Cash Hinkey going to be taking on Robert Miller of Halstead. Collette taking on Will Bristol of El Saline. Keep in mind, those consolation matches, it's win or go home at this point. So big stakes there for those two young men. Moving on up to 157 pounds. In the semifinals, we'll see Colby Sternad against Phoenix Fikes of Hillsboro. We'll see if I can get
that should be another
here.
That was an upset of the Southeast Saline kid. Fikes was the 6th seed coming into the tournament. So we'll have the 2 versus 6 seed there. Not sure if they wrestled out at the the Hillsboro dual tournament this year, but there again is another episode where Colby, man, if he shows up, he should be able to just dominate that match as long as he shows up and stays on his offense.
Fikes, a sophomore, as you said, coach, from Hillsboro, 22-19 on the year. Big match for Colby. If he wins it, it's going to be his first time qualifying for that state tournament. Then, up at 165 pounds, we'll see consolation action from Tyrese Alexander. He's going to be taking on Zach Warnick of Allen Northern. Again, those consolation matches, win or go home. Lots of opportunity for those guys on the backside, still to qualify and also to build up some team points, as we had mentioned earlier, Coach. Then we're going to see back-to-back semifinals matches at 175 and 190 pounds for your Buffaloes. Again, those semifinals matches, you win, you're going to state. Carson Beaver is going to be taking on Bo Kyler, I think the number 1 ranked wrestler at 175 from Ellsworth. That's a big matchup there for Carson. As we said earlier, hopefully Carson can slow that match down, keep it wrestled from the neutral position, and come up with a big upset win there. Then we'll look to 190 pounds. That's Nick Kendall taking on Logan Overton of, where was that? Goodness gracious.
He's out of Halstead. Yeah, that's one of Coach Burke's wrestlers. 26-4 freshman, and good record. Don't believe those two ran into each other. The tournament they would have seen each other earlier this year was out at Heston, but I do not believe they matched up. But should be a good possibility. If Nick stays aggressive, gets to his over-under ties, good things should happen there.
Then for the young man at 215 pounds, Trent Gardner taking on, let's see, that's Micah Galvin, the 1 seed from Ellsworth. 32-0 senior going up against Trent, but Trent does find himself in a semifinals match, so 1 win away from a qualification.
It's a tough matchup there, but win or lose, Trent's going to wrestle a kid with very similar records, either a kid from Sedgwick or Minneapolis if he happens to lose that match. And both matches are winnable for Trent, and he's really set himself up with that win in that match against Weller to have that shot to go to state and be a first-time state qualifier for your Buffs.
Also from the Buffaloes, once they turn it around to the lower side, we're going to see consolation matches from Travis Shelley and Paul Pachta. Shelley taking on, as well as Leo Collette. I forgot that one. Leo Collette at 113 going to be taking on William Andreas of Canton Galva. Tough match there for Leo to start the day off. The 1 seed getting knocked off. A lot of pressure being a freshman as the 1 seed, Coach.
It is, and for Leo, it's going to be a matter of can you regroup mentally? How can you overcome the little sense of urgency that's now here? You've had some things go wrong, things you didn't plan on. Maybe you were looking ahead to next week as I'm the number 1 seed. I'm gonna make it through. I got a shot at a state medal. But now with a little adversity, how will we see him respond? And from what I've seen of Leo throughout the years, this is when Leo's at his best.
I agree with you, Coach. Hopefully it's right back to business as usual. Potential for a lot of bonus points there on the backside for that young man, and definitely this team in the contention for some hardware this weekend. Then we're going to see Travis Shelley at 120 pounds taking on Aaron Lannis from St. John's Hudson. And then we'll see Paul Pachta at 126 taking on Troy Montz of Bennington. Those two, not sure the records there, but probably pretty comparable as far as records and skill for those two young men. So hopefully they can go out, kind of live on that shield today as their season potentially going to be coming to an end with a loss. You hope they can go out there, show all the stuff that they've got, and pick up a win and some bonus points.
Absolutely.
Or some points for the team.
those are those bonus points that make the big difference when the final team score come out. Right now we see it's a 1 or 2 point race. Everybody's going to have their big guns making the finals, but it's a matter of how do your wrestleback wrestlers do? How many can you get back through in that backside and pick up those bonus point falls or tech falls?
Quarter after noon here from Gypsum, Kansas. This is the Dragon Tree Media Stream powered by KR92. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Sternad Farms, Hinky Seed, Bobo's Meats, and Polanski Seed. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back at you with the semifinals and first round of consolations. Don't go anywhere. Lots of wrestling still to be had here on KR92. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the semifinals. I believe we're going to have the semifinals down here on the main mats in the gymnasium. Would like to thank all of our sponsors here this morning: Sternad Farms, Hinky Seed, KR92, Bobo's Meats, and Polanski Seed. Thank you to Keisha for allowing us to broadcast here as half-heartedly as we've been able to so far this morning. But shout out to Keisha for letting us bring a camera to cover these Buffalo wrestlers. Some words from Keisha. School activities teach students discipline, teamwork, and dedication while providing them with structured, supervised learning activities. Encourage your son and daughter to participate in school activities. Participation opens the door to a lifetime of enjoyment and excitement. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and KR92 encourage you to make activities and academics curriculum partners. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the KR92 Dragon Tree Media stream of the 321A Regional B for your Republic County Buffaloes men's wrestling squad. Semifinal match here for Om Patel at 138 pounds. He's going to be taking on Juan Becerra, senior from Lions. Becerra 22-8 on the year.
Should be a good matchup here. I'm not sure if they wrestled in league. One thing to note is Lions has been on a roll this round, so that can play a factor into it here. Patel looking for his collar tie, staying inside with his right hand.
Going to circle back to the center here. Becerra not showing a whole lot yet. Patel trying to get into his collar tie. Had the underhook on the right side there for a second. Now pummels inside. Becerra keeping space. Now looks for his own right-hand collar tie. Real physical match here in the tie-ups.
A lot of finger grabbing going on. I know Ohm's shaking his hand a little bit there.
Still from neutral position, center of the mat.
Kind of filling each other out, seeing what each wrestler wants to do here. Patel going back to that inside collar tie with his right hand.
Going to clear that tie up. Now back to work. Becerra looks for the baseball back grip. Patel wrestles through it to his right-hand collar tie. Thought he was going to go club and then shot, but doesn't pull the trigger. Becerra wrestles out of the tie. Now back into his own right-hand collar tie. Patel looking to pummel in and get double inside control.
Oh, nice.
Slid through there by Becerra. Good scramble from Patel.
Great recovery by Patel. He looked kind of dead in the water there on that slide-by attempt by the Lions wrestler. Ohm's got to get going on his offense here. Looking back for his collar tie. And he got caught sleeping with his hands outside there, giving up that pass by attempt.
Head-to-head wrestling, center of the mat. 25 seconds to go here. Still 0-0. Patel going to look for a Russian tie to his right. Becerra stays square, clears the tie, back to space. 15 seconds to go. Patel tries to flash a little duck under to a double there. Can't get to the legs of Becerra. Good hands defense there from the young men from Lions.
Really looks like the wrestler from Lions is pretty content to take it to the second period, 0-0. Patel wins the toss and chooses to defer, giving the choice to Becerra. Becerra not wanting to go on the mat with Patel, choosing the neutral position.
Kind of surprising after a sort of lackluster first period. Patel fires a shot off the whistle, can't get to the legs, wasn't really set up. And he's going to look to get back to work with his tie-ups, this time reaching with his left, looks to duck under on the right side, but Becerra able to wrestle through it.
Patel's got to be patient here. Look for his setup. Don't let Becerra force him into his action and his shots. Ohm looking back in for that inside collar tie. Trying to switch off to his baseball grip and Russian attempt, but Becerra staying at distance, does not want to engage here.
Yeah, we really haven't seen a shot of really much of any kind here so far in this one, especially from Becerra. You know, we've seen Ohm at least try to pull the trigger on a couple of things, but from Becerra, all we've seen is that slide by. It was pretty, but Patel able to wrestle through it.
It looked like he was setting that up again with that right hand over tie for Becerra. It's one thing, Patel's going to have to keep that elbow down and not engage there. Back to the hand fighting. Ohm with a hard, heavy club coming on the elbow, looking to clear that for a single on his left leg.
Coach, I'm going to abandon you here real quick. Run over to the mezzanine, get to watch Cash Hinkey. Could be his final match. I'll be right back, folks.
All right, Patel keeps wrestling here, looking for position. Takes a straight-on double leg shot. The sprawl by the young Lions wrestler, but Patel's able to scramble back to his feet. That's the position we can't get to. Ohm can't let the wrestler force that shot. Right. Ohm hanging on the outside collar tie. Fighting for hand position here. Attempts from the Lions wrestler. Just kind of slowed the match down and stayed on their feet. All he's really looking for is that slide by. 10 seconds to go here in the period. Patel fighting for that double under collar tie. He's circling out of it. 2-1. We'll go to the third period. 0-0. Patel's choice. Patel choosing to go bottom here in a 0-0 match. Looks for a quick sit out initially. Nice switch attempt to his feet and clear. It's 1-0 Om Patel. Right back to the collar tie with his left hand, wrist tie with the right, staying in distance here. Coach Plansky yelling at him, stay out of the tie-ups. Patel staying inside, right, getting a little extended there, but hand fighting, circling out of the tie. Pecura has not really attempted a shot the entire match. He had the one slide-by attempt, otherwise has not done anything other than try to capitalize on the shots of Patel. And the hand fighting continues here. 1:20 to go in the match. Inside collar tie by Patel, looking to pass that elbow. The wrestlers continue in that head collar wrist tie position. And not a lot of action, just staying in the middle of the mat. Patel staying inside tie, looking for an elbow pass there. Pecura circles out, back to their neutral position here. Pecura on a hard single leg shot. Patel sprawls. He's got the left arm trapped here, looking to circle behind. Pecura holding on to that single leg, looking for that stalemate call. Patel looking to hook up that cradle on the near side position. Stalemate. We're coming back neutral. 36 seconds to go. Patel leading 1-0. Collar tie resumes. All right, both guys looking for that inside collar with their right hand. Patel circling off, capturing wrist. 25 seconds to go here. 1-0 Patel. Both wrestlers staying inside position. Not a lot of action here. 20 seconds to go. One more burst by the Lions wrestler. He shoots a single leg attempt. Patel down blocks off. 10 seconds to go. Patel up 1-0. Lions in on a double leg. Patel sprawls into the mat. 5 seconds to go. And that's where we'll end. Om Patel, a 1-0 winner, will advance to the finals later today. Your first state qualifier for your Republic County Buffaloes. Right now, we have Cash Hinkie wrestling up on the mezzanine. Brady will be back shortly with updates to let us know how that match goes. We'll take a short break here and wait for his results.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Brady Lowell, Jostin Wassom on the call for you here today. Dragon Tree Media, powered by KR92. We'd like to thank our sponsors again, Sternad Farms, Hinkie Seed, Bobo Meats, Plansky Seed, and, of course, KR92. Jesse and Deb, Bob back at the station. Little update for you. Cash Hinkie up there on the mezzanine, able to get a quick pin against the wrestler from Halstead. Hinkie Seed bonus point win there for Cash Hinkie, and he keeps his senior campaign alive. Next for your Buffaloes, that's going to be Colby Sternad. Colby down here on mat 2. We'll be taking on Phoenix Fikes of Hillsboro, sophomore, 23-19 on the year.
A great matchup for Colby. You know, just like we just saw Ohm do, staying in good position, taking care of business. Should be a good matchup for us. Should see similar results here as long as Colby comes out and performs.
You know, Colby, one of those kids, a lot of different offensive attacks. He's slick on his feet, explosive, good setups, and then once he gets on top, a lot of tilts and different ways he can score. So, you know, kind of let's call it a breakout season maybe for Colby. He's really put the work in the program, and it is really starting to flourish as a wrestler and a leader on this Buffalo squad.
Yeah, you know, last year Colby really didn't have a varsity spot, so to speak. So he was fighting with the seniors from last year and really gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, you know, and this year did. It showed dividends. Colby, one of the most explosive guys on the team, maybe next to Nick Kendall, but explosive in a different way. Like you said, on the mat, you know, Colby he can change the match with his tilts. He's immediately getting in on those. You know, he can go from a 0-0 to match to 12-0 that fast. Just doing a great job with that this year.
Kind of an update here. Om Patel going to be our first qualifier after that semifinal win. Congratulations to Om. That'd be his first qualification, first trip to the Hayes 3-2-1A State Championship Wrestling Tournament, and hopefully the first of many today, Coach.
Absolutely. You know, this should be a good stretch here. Some tough matchups, but a lot of opportunities. You know, every guy in this semifinal round, win or lose, their next match will determine, you know, if they go to state. So they've got 2 opportunities to be a state qualifier here. Just got to show up, you know, wrestle our matches, and every one of the guys has a great shot to make it, you know.
Real quick check of our team scores here about midway through our semifinal round. Lions still hanging on to that lead, and actually, Coach, have looked really good in this semifinal round. They're up to 112 points and in building that first place lead.
Their strength is their lower lineup kids. So, you know, their team scores will start dwindling down here, but they've got most of that, you know, up to 150-pounders. That's where they're really tough. Now, Ellsworth hanging in there at second with 67 points, and your Buffalo's not far behind with 56 points, but, you know, our heart of our lineup yet to come with opportunity to score here.
The NCAA League still with the top 3 spots. Coming in 4th is the Minneapolis Lions. They've got 48.5 points. They're tied for 4th with Harrington. So Harrington, the top non-NCAA team in the race today. Council Grove in 6th with 44.5 points. Then to round out the NCAA, Southeast of Saline, the home team, in 7th with 38.5 points. So NCAA League still a pretty good showing here for the top 5 teams. The last one in 7th there, Coach.
Yep, and a little update to that 113-pound bracket. The young man from Ellsworth that beat Leo Collette first round punched his ticket to the state tournament with a pin in the second round. So proven to be a better loss than what one would think. Very tough kid. You know,
that's a tough 8 seed.
Absolutely, it's a draw you didn't want to get. You know, with the way the brackets are seeded, if you have a losing record, it's random draw. So even though the kid didn't have the worst record in the bracket, you know, he drew the number 1 seed right out of the gate just by random, you know, where the computer throws you.
Little bit of a break here as we wait for Mr. Colby Sternad. Less than a minute to go. We'll see if this Lions wrestler can score a tech fall and get us to action a little bit quicker. Let's see if I can get upcoming matches for you here. I think we're going to have Matthew Collette over on the mezzanine coming up. We'll see if we can get you an update on that one. But also scheduled here for mat 1 is going to be Carson Beavers versus Bo Kyler. Anticipated matchup there for the seniors. Going to be a big one for Beavers if he can slow that match down, make it his own match. Wait to see how that one turns out. We're also going to have Nick Kendall down here in the main gym taking on Overton of... Where's Overton from, Coach?
Big upset here in the makings on mat 1. The wrestler from Lions, who's highly ranked, was on his back against the kid from
Let's see, is that
Harrington, it looks like.
Is that Jace Grizzle there, Coach?
That looks like. Yeah, it's Xander
Xander
Young,
Young.
18-1. Just a proof to how tough this tournament really is. You know, a lot of these records not necessarily reminiscent of how good the kid is. Coming up here on Mat 2, check it in. We have Colby Sternad in your 157-pound weight class.
Colby taking on, let's see here, Phoenix Fikes of Hillsboro, 23-19 sophomore. And Colby looking to punch his first ticket to the state tournament.
Sternad looking to work out of space. The Hillsboro kid looking to engage in that collar tie. Sternad likes this in space. He wants to come at a blast double, just shoot right through the hand defense.
Right hand collar tie for Colby. He's going to look head and heel there. Can't get to the leg. Now comes up, posting with his left, trying to get to his space. Fikes keeping a right hand collar tie, so Colby will oblige, but now pummels back out to space.
Sternad to a heavy right hand collar tie, looking to force the young wrestler from Hillsboro out of the arena, and does. We'll get a reset here. Colby's got to stay in space here and operate. Look for a nice blast double coming here real quick.
Looks for kind of a low-level single there with a swipe of his right hand. Can't get to the leg once again. Back to the right-hand collar tie for Sternad. Fikes staying right in Colby's face here in this one.
Yeah, the Hillsboro kid obviously wants to slow the match down, keep it tight. Colby, that's not to his advantage. He separates out, looks to operate in space here. Looking a lot of head taps, motion.
Not a lot of offense from Fikes thus far. Colby popped off arm
nice.
Throw there from Sternad. Puts Fikes to his back in a flash. Colby holding 3 near fall. That's going to be a 6-point move for Colby Sternad. Now getting to work from top. Goes bear claw ride here. Sags his hips to the right. Looking for a roll through turn, I think. Now
he's got to get that wrist captured here. Look for his tilt here. Looking for that 2-on-1. Here he comes. He's going to bury the head here. Look for the roll through tilt. Decides otherwise to go to the off wrist.
Fikes doing a good job of keeping those wrists in front of him to get turned in what Colby wants. He's got to let Colby capture those wrists. Big sit out here from Fikes. Sternad follows well. Fikes sits again. Sternad might have gotten away with the locked hands there as Fikes tries to come to his feet. 5 seconds out from the ride out. Now back to the spiral ride.
Great period there by Sternad. That throw there was really unexpected. That's not something we've seen out of him a lot this year. Hillsboro wrestler wins the toss. He defers. Colby Sternad chooses to go down, up 6-0 entering the second period.
Colby taking his time to get set. Fikes loads up on the left side. Sternad keeps his base off the whistle. Big tight waist on the right side for Fikes as he's able to flatten Sternad out. Sternad building his base here. Fikes looks ankle tight waist. Can't get it.
Sternad real good at his wing and roll setups here. I look for him to hit a short sit out to set that up in this given position.
Yeah, especially with that super deep tight waist there from Fikes, Coach. You know, if you get a little pressure off you, you get that sit out. They're looking to regain that pressure, and that's when you hit them. And Colby usually money with that move here. 30 seconds out of the second period, and Colby's going to look for that wing and roll. Now going to reach over the head. Gets into a scramble here, puts Fikes to his back, but doesn't have a lot of control. I think they might go 2-2 there. No near fall stroked. I don't know. They're not going to call any points on that. And I think it's all control.
I think it was going to go 2-2, so the official decided instead. Oh, now they did put the points, so we did go 2 reversal, 2 reversal. Just didn't really have him on his back long enough to get the strokes. Sternad looking kind of content here, just to stay in good position and not risk.
Sternad looked for a switch momentarily. Now going to hit
There's
the
that
roll
side
through.
roll.
Catches Fikes on a hip here. He's going to try to make it some near fall, but Fikes does a good job of getting safe. Colby now 8-point lead, 10-2. Going to throw a big crossface from the left side. Now look to get that far side cradle. Fikes flattens out and gets long on the mat to defend.
Sternad really battling those one-on-ones. Fikes comes up to his base. Sternad looking for that crossface to that off wrist.
Spiral ride now for Colby. Sagging his hips off the left side here.
Sternad's got to be a little careful here. He keeps setting that left hip on the mat. He's putting himself in a risk of danger as the second period comes to a close. Sternad leading 10-2.
It will be Hillsboro's choice. They're going to put their wrestler in neutral position. Colby with the 8-point lead, major decision territory.
Sternad looking to head tap, stay working in space. He doesn't really want to engage in the collar tie, but the Hillsboro kid engages in the right-hand collar, and Colby follows suit.
Being really patient here is Colby. Has a big lead. Don't want to get caught in any throws. But happy to stay in that tie up there, Coach.
Absolutely. The Hoisington kid's not forcing any action. Let's let that clock run. Stay in good collar tie position. Now he passes off to an elbow control here. Just circling. I'm not getting caught hanging too much.
Minute.
But Hillsboro kid tries a little quick snap down attempt. Colby just circles out of it.
Unable to pull the trigger on anything.
There's one shot attempt by the Hoisington kid. Looking probably to get a stalling call on Colby here if he takes another shot attempt. Colby's not really wanting to engage and isn't really doing much action here, but just staying at distance, trying to get the time to run out. We're down to 40 seconds to go.
Sternad keeping a post with his left as Fikes comes to a collar tie. They're going to warn Sternad for the stalling. Now Fikes going to try a single leg. Sternad going to go upper body here. Now standing on their feet, Fikes going to try a headlock. Nice mat return there by Sternad to get the take